Okay, I think everybody's in now. So good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are. Welcome to eoPathways. So today I have a pleasure to host Bruno Vila Nova, who is a eoPath developer and SAP analyst from Delaware Consulting, currently in Brazil. And Bruno is part of our special series on paleo careers or paleo pathways. And today he's going to be talking about from fossils to code and from academy to industry. Changing career is possible. Okay, so for those who are familiar with our seminars, today we're going to have more or less the same seminar format, which is going to be starting with these 5 minutes welcome and announcements, and followed by Bruno's talk. And then we're going to have a moderated Q&A for about 10 minutes. After that, if we have time, we can, Bruno can stay for tea time, but he has to leave at the hour. So not sure yet if you're going to have time for tea time, but if we do, we invite everyone to stay for a bit longer. And this is the first reminder that you can send your questions to Bruno via the chat, and you can send them to our questions host at today's Chrissy. Just a reminder that we are currently in the middle of our eoPathways special series, which was developed to showcase some cases of people that have paleo background or education in paleo sciences, in all types of paleo sciences, and showing how they can use the skills they learned during this education in other careers, especially outside of academia. So you can, this is the schedule. So we're currently here in Bruno's talk, and you can use the QR code to register to our mailing list and get the links for the seminars. So a little bit of housekeeping. So eoPathways values the participation of everyone interested in the paleo sciences, and please remember to abide by our code of conduct. If you have not done so yet, please go to our website and do it. Remember to stay muted during the talk. You should not be able to unmute yourself, but if you do for any reason, please remain muted. Another reminder that you can send questions to our questions host via the chat, but you can also use the raise hand function, Zoom function, to raise your hand, and we're gonna unmute you and let you ask the question. We use Zoom's captions, so auto captions. You can press the little CC button down there to create the captions, or also to hide them. A reminder that we welcome nominations for our talks. So if you do know anyone in the paleo sciences that you think you'd give a great talk, please go to our website and nominate them. You're going to see the link for the nomination form in the chat as well. And you can self-nominate as well. So if you want, you can do it. And another reminder that we collect demographic information weekly about who is attending our seminar. This is anonymous, optional, but very much encouraged. So finally, introducing Bruno. Bruno did his bachelor in biological sciences at the Federal University of Pernambuco, followed by a master's in geoscience at the same university. And then this was followed by a PhD in comparative biology at the University of São Paulo, when Bruno and I were lab mates for a short period of time, which was cool. And then he did 2 postdocs at the University of São Paulo and another one at the Federal University of Pernambuco, and is currently a junior analyst developer at Delaware Consulting. So with this, I would like to welcome Bruno to share and take over the screen share and start the talk.
Okay, let me just get here. Okay, so I hope everyone is seeing my screen now.
Yeah.
Okay, so thank you, Pedro, for the introduction. Good morning, or good afternoon, or good evening for everyone, whichever time zone you are in. As Pedro stated, my name is Bruno. I'm here to have a talk with you guys. This is not a lecture. This is not a presentation. it's more of a conversation. So as he said, if you have any questions, any don't understand something, please raise your hand, ask something in the chat. Pedro, there is no problem to interrupt me and speak and say, hey, there is someone on the chat asking something. I'm trying to see here. I have the chat on a second monitor, but I'm not sure if I will be able to see if someone asks something. So please don't be afraid to make questions and to try to understand better something. Okay. So in order to better understand what I'm going to talk about, I divided this conversation in the following structures. So we have the introduction here, which we are doing right now. I will give a brief overview of who I am and my background and what I used and didn't use it in when I changed my careers. We are going to talk a little bit about the job market for doctorates and people after they finish their PhD. We will see a little bit of why to change careers, how we can do that, this murky area, this gray zone of, well, I did my PhD, but I'm not getting where I wanted. So how I can do that, how I can move. And then we are going to conclude with based on the brief overview of myself, you saw, and the job market and those demands, where we are now. Okay. So as Pedro stated, I worked with Archosaurus from 2006 to 2021. I have a bachelor's in biology and a master in geosciences. I did my PhD in comparative biology. I spent 3 or 4 years as a postdoctoral fellow. I changed it according to funding and which institution I was able to work. Maybe some of you guys heard about me. I have I did my fair share of publishing papers. I work with mainly Pterosaurs, sometimes Archosaurs and phylogenetics and morphometrics and biogeography. So I went to conferences, I published papers. I did everything according by the books to a normal paleontologist. So I went to field works. I got until my neck in mud. I went to inside caves. I went to field works. I went to museums, to collections. I visited stuff. I was not a special student, a star student. I was just your regular researcher. Okay, so I have nothing special. So well, he did change careers. He got a job in a different area. He had some advantage. No, I was just like you guys. Okay, this is important. For later on, we will see that. So with that in mind, we can enter on part 2 of our presentation, of our conversation here, which is the job market for PhDs. Okay, so we all know that there is an academic job crisis. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I'm not going to pretend there is not. Okay, we know that there are more people finishing their PhD than there are openings available. We know that this crisis is not something new. Okay, when I was doing some background research for this presentation, I found this paper from the 80s. So 40 years ago, there were already people talking about those problems. And we also know that this duality of more students finishing their PhD than vacancies open for the academic market, like tenure track positions or researcher, permanent researchers and PIs. We know that this keep increasing and it's getting worse. So we know that the majority of the students who finish their PhD are not going to get an academic job. We know that. I'm not going to sugarcoat. I'm not going to say, well, maybe something special will happen. We must understand that, because we must understand that it's not something we can control. We must understand and accept that no matter how good you are, no matter how capable you are, some things are beyond your control and you can't change that. In my specific case, for example, when I was changing, when the founding for one of my PhD was finishing and I was starting to look for the next founding, something happened, okay? I'm pretty sure everybody here was affected in some way or another by the COVID pandemic, okay? And especially here in Brazil, it was very strong. It was a very difficult moment. A lot of funding was cut. There were no new opens. Universities weren't hiring. It was a very bleak scenario. It was very difficult to continue working on academic pursuits. Okay, so all these contexts, all these problems beyond our control lead us to part 3. Okay, which is why change. Okay, so everything happened. All those problems, all those scenarios which I had no power to influence, led me to think, well, can I stop being a researcher and trying to work something else? And this brought a lot of questions, and you stay awake 2 a.m. in the morning thinking, am I a failure for trying to leave academia? I did all that for nothing. Is it even possible to leave and try to start something new? I worked for 15 years on this. Is it so? You have all those questions, all those difficulties trying to understand and to grasping. You need to cope with a lot of stuff, and you are not alone in trying to pass all that. Okay, almost everybody who decides to make one shift or another in their careers are passing through it. And something that it's very important to understand is that it's not a complete restart. Okay, you will always carry your knowledge and your experience with you, so you are going to use it some way or another. However, to do that, you must learn how to use this knowledge, because it will be different. Okay, you must be willing to learn new stuff. During your academic career, the majority of researchers, they are always focusing more. They are always concentrating on narrower and narrower fields. Okay, and when you started to change, to try to make this shift, this transition to a new career, you need to learn how to broaden your horizons and not narrow. So you need to get used to unfocus. Okay, and this is one of the key parts. This is one of the things I want you guys to live here and with this perception, to unfocus. Okay, we will see a great example in a few slides. Because when you are always carrying your knowledge, you are always some advantage. You always have some advantage with you. Okay, and this maybe not be what you think, but it's something that you need to use it. Those people usually call them the soft skills, like soft life experiences, professional maturity, experience interacting with other scientists, people from different cultures. You are always bringing your life story with you, okay? So if you when you decided to change careers, you won't simply forget and delete everything that happened with you. You are going to bring that with you, okay? And this is how we go to part 4, okay? Now that we can understand why to change, now we can see how to change, okay? And in order to learn how to change and get a better understanding of this difficult timing in your life, you must learn how to use different ways your soft skills and get us access to things outside your expertise, okay? I'm going to use one of my examples here so you guys can understand pretty clear what I'm talking about, okay? So networking is something very fundamental. Everybody here, I'm pretty sure, has a good networking, know someone from a different lab, different university, different country, already worked with them on something or another, went to a conference and meet new guys who are working on something similar. So you have your own network, okay? That's for sure. I'm pretty sure you all have it. However, that's not only it. You have a different networking of friends, of family, of colleagues, someone from your, when you are doing an undergrad course or you went to a language course and meet some people different over there. Okay, you have different networking. You must learn to use that. For example, have you guys ever heard of the critically acclaimed Final Fantasy XIV game? I'm pretty sure you are all, what? And I'm going to make a precise point here, okay? Final Fantasy is a very world-renowned game and everybody knows about it. I played this game during the later years of my PhD, and in and out played it some bit more, okay? So in the last, in a few years ago, I was playing the latest expansion, and one of the guys I played with said, "Hey Bruno, I'm creating a Telegram group of some of my friends who are playing the game, and we want to talk about the story and the game and the characters and everything. Do you want to get inside this Telegram group?" And I said, "Sure, why not?" I get in and start to make friends with everybody and talking with the other people on the group. And fast forward to a few months later, one of the new friends I meet in this group said, "Hey guys, the company I'm working for is with a new opening for a job vacancy here. They are with a new program to people who want to start on the company from ground up and learn the stuff and have some training. If you guys are interested in it, let me know. I will give you the material so you can study and you can make the interviews and everything." And I said, "Hey, sure, why not? I will try it." I talked with this new friend who I met only because of a game, and I applied for the interview. I made all the tests they wanted. I talked with the HR and another interview and another test and made all the selection process, and then I got inside the company. And that's where I'm working now, 1 year later. All because you can say, well, it was a completely random, it was a luck stroke, it was something completely out of the ordinary. Yes, it was something which I had no control of, just like I had no control of COVID, I have no control of the PhD job market, but I used it, and it was something I had no control of, which I used, and which I was able to use it since I unfocused my point of view and tried to see opportunities in different places. Okay, so this is the second important point I want you guys to see. You need to if you are trying to change careers, you need to broaden your horizons. Okay, you need to start seeing you don't need to be hungry hunting for opportunities and just talk with people who can add something to you, but you need to keep in mind that some opportunities will come to you through unexpected ways. Okay, and if you are with a narrow view, if you are only looking for opportunities directly related to your field of work, you are not going to see them, because I'm pretty sure right now every one of you guys has a colleague, a friend, a family member, a neighbor, or someone who works for a company, and probably that company is willing to hire you. It's just that you don't know that this company is willing to hire you, and the company has no opening available to you. But when they have an opening available, they will hire you. So that's the point. You need to know of the opportunities. If you don't know about the opportunity, you won't be able to reach it. Okay. And with that in mind, we can now see how we can make those change in careers. Okay. So first and foremost, we need to remember our soft skills, right? Those are your advantages. Always remember that you have an extensive background, you have professional maturity. This is important. Okay, specifically if we are talking about the IT market and the dev world, which is what I'm talking about here, it's fundamental that you have some technical fundamentals like coding or algorithms. Okay, you got to understand that. Some examples are like web or HTML, which are some very simple stuff you can learn very easily, and just to have a grasp of it. Okay, this leads to technical finance. So this is an area I'm pretty sure everyone here can shine, because everyone here is giving presentations, is giving lectures, is explaining new stuff to people who don't know that stuff. Okay, so you are very good in transmit information, in talk with people who don't know about the subject, and in understanding new stuff. Okay, so you are going to use that. You have 10, 20 years of that, and you are going to use it, I'm pretty sure. If you are talking about the dev world, the IT world, we can see a lot of similar parallels with the academic world. Okay, so you are probably very used to international experiences and collaborations, and you are used to using open source software, in adapting tools to your own needs, so in making your own tools. Those are stuffs you already know how to do that. Okay, when we are talking about the IT market, there are some major blocks, major areas which are interesting to know about and to try to focus. Okay, so probably everybody knows about heard about data science or backend and front end, and those are areas which are interesting for you to focus. But there are a lot of different areas in the IT market, which are areas with different openings and vacancies in the good job market, which you don't need to know how to code. You can work on product design, you can work on people management, and you don't need to create a single line of code. You don't need to understand how to program, and you can say, well, I try to learn Java, I try to learn Python, but it's too difficult, I can't understand. Well, even so, you can still work on this market. You can still have plenty of opportunities if you just try to pay attention to different subjects, okay? And one important thing is that depending on which company you are going to work to, there will be a different approach to it. So if you are working on startup or one ONG or small company or mega corporations, the daily routine will be different. What is expected for you is different. What you are going to do is different. So you need to have these expectations set up, okay? So you need to better understand where you are going to. And lastly, after all that, you are starting to see how to enter, okay? And one very important thing here is that experience is relative, okay? You may think you don't have enough experience to apply for a job, but probably you have. Probably the company is expecting something and you think, well, I'm not able to give this to the company, but you are going to give other stuff in the other areas, and then you can make up for it, okay? So you don't need to wait to be completely proficient on something to try. You can start now, okay? It's important to have an idea of what is your goal, okay? And what are your objectives. For example, well, I want to work on data science for a startup. Okay, so you are starting to make connections, and then you have a clear goal of what you are aiming to do. Again, it's very important to remember your contacts. Your networking is something that will help you, and try to make it as healthier as possible. Okay, it's good to always have something to talk about and to do. One very important point I want you guys to focus here is that a portfolio is important. Okay, if you have an email from Google, for example, in one of their tools like the Google Calendar or the Google Drive and whatever, one of those tools is a tool to create a website. Okay, it's a very simple website. There is no need to worry with it. If you can make a PowerPoint presentation, you can make a website with something like that, and just create it. And when you are applying to a job, there will definitely be a place. Do you have a link for your portfolio? And then just put that website over there, okay? It's better to have a very simple one than none at all. If you want to create a very fancy one with presentations and videos and all your portfolio and everything, it's okay, but there is no need to rush that, okay? If you are doing a small course, well, I did a small training here, I learned how to make X or Y or A and B and C, save a copy of it and put it on your portfolio. It's important, it's good for you, okay? When we are talking about those courses and how to learn the IT market and learn a new programming language and everything, we have a bunch of options, okay? So we can stay here for hours talking about different courses and everything. Some of them are very familiar, like Coursera or Udemy or Code Academy, okay? Even Google has a career certificates, which it's a training program from them. I personally really enjoy the free code camp program. They have a lot of free stuff and it's very user friendly, but it doesn't matter how you learn something, okay? As long as you have a clear goal, that's the most important thing, okay? I urge you to learn how to use GitHub. However, it's a very user-friendly platform, and almost everybody will have a GitHub account. So if you are learning something and one of the website you are using to make your courses and everything has a GitHub training program, try to make it, okay? It's very important. And here now we are, and then you're starting to ask me, okay, Bruno, I have all this portfolio, I have all these connections, I have made some training programs and everything, where I'm going to start looking for jobs, okay? Probably people will say, well, you can, obviously, you can go for Google for it. Amazon has a major job program for IT and development and software. Accenture is a company created by Microsoft to make those programs, so it's also a good program. There are freelancer opportunities like remote.com or FoundDev, which are job markets. You create your account and then you can browse companies asking for one or another kind of dev, and then you take their freelance program, their freelance opportunities, and work as home office. However, in my experience, the best way to approach this is with patience, okay? So again and again, you are going to learn to listen. Yeah, you need to patient, you need to keep looking. I know it's very difficult. I know it's complicated to try to pass this, but you need to take a lot of patience with this. And again, to try to unfocus and pay attention to your network. Probably, as I said before, probably right now, there is a company with an opening who is willing to hire you. It's just that they don't know about you and you don't know about that, okay? That's the tricky part. That's the important part. I'm pretty sure there is a company right now willing to hire you, no matter where you are, no matter in which stage of your training you are. They are willing to hire you. You just don't know about them and they don't know about you, okay? And probably it depending on your luck or the conditions, you won't know about them in the next weeks or months or years, but there is this opportunity, okay? Because what you need to understand is that, yeah, your current position is unique. However, you are not alone. Again, coming back to my situation, to my example, when I finished my PhD, there were less than 10 people with a doctorate in pterosaurs in Brazil, okay? But there are more than 500 people with a doctorate in paleontology without jobs. See, there is this connection. You must understand that you may be an island, you may have your own treasure chest buried inside you. You will have all that glittering gold and gemstones and everything. But you are not the only island, okay? There are other people who are struggling just like you. You just need to make this connection. You need to understand how to close this gap, okay? So we are approaching the last part, okay? We are almost finishing now. which is where we are, okay? So as I said, I'm working for the Delaware consulting company, okay? It's a consulting company who works with the SAP environment, the SAP platform, okay? Or SAP or SAP, however you want to call it. Everybody talks in a different way. It's a management and administration platform, okay? Think of it just like Windows is for users, as SAP is for companies, okay? So for example, the London airport, how they manage their flights and their employees? Well, they use the SAP platform. Samsung, the software company, how they manage their products, their inventory, their stock, their warehouse, they use the SAP platform. The New York City subway lines, how they manage the lines, the time schedule, their employees, their manutention, everything. They use the SAP platform, okay? It's something very huge in the industrial world. And Delaware is a company which implement and sell and help desk for those companies who uses the SAP platform, okay? It's a huge company. They are in in 19 countries. They have more than 4,000 employees. And I didn't know about them. And they were willing to hire me. And as I said before, everything was connected. It was a large company willing to hire me, and I was willing to work for them. However, I didn't make this connection without the help of someone in the middle ground, making those connections. Okay, so again, I'm coming back to you guys to focus on that, to state that again. You need to start looking in the greater picture. You need to start seeing you need to start seeing your networking as broader than it is. You need to have clear goals of where you want to go and what you want to learn, and be willing to make those connections and learn new stuff. That's the most important points I want to bring you guys here. Okay. That's all. That's everything I wanted to say. I'm sorry if I run a little bit, or if I have some point you guys want to make more clear, I can return to it. I will give the power of presentation back to Pedro and the PaleoPerks crew. And if you guys have any questions, if you guys have any doubts, please let me know. I'm here for, we have a plenty of time later left in here, and just let me know if there is some questions, something you want to talk about, okay?
Well, thank you so much, Bruno. It was a very cool presentation. I really liked it. I mean, I was myself at some point of my career also thinking about making a change like this, so it's very useful for me as well. Something I did not tell you before the talk is that you can leave your last slide up like this, as we have it right now. So
okay.
Yeah, so we can have it, and then after we have finished the Q&A, we can go to, I can take over the screen share.
Okay, sure.
So just a reminder to everyone that you can send the questions via the chat to our questions host, that is Chris today, but you can also raise your hand and we can unmute you to make your questions. So before we move to the questions that we already have, I have a question that I just thought about. You said that your position is for people that are starting in this industry. So one thing I don't remember from the time we were lab mates was that, did you have any training on any programming language, or are, for example, or anything that helped you in this new position?
Yes, when I was on my first postdoctoral period, I had an extensive class on the R statistic language, okay? And I started on my second postdoctoral scholarship. I started studying Python, okay, which is another statistical language. However, it's completely different from what I do now. It's just like I said, yeah, I started learning Chinese when I was in college, and now I work as a translator for German. You will say, Bruno, there is nothing in common. And yeah, it's completely different. However, it's as I said, your experience is cumulative. Okay, so even if you think you are not learn something, you are bringing it with you.
Okay. That's very useful. Thank you. So we have a question already in the chat from Luan Antunes. She's asking, Bruno, do you have any advice for those who are coming back to academia and want to keep financially healthy? Is that possible during the time someone is taking a PhD, for example?
Well, that's there are a lot of layers in this question. Okay, so first of all, your definition of what is academic, what is financial healthy may be different from another person. Okay, what I can tell you is that depending on your own country which you are living, the approach to academic research is different. Okay, so some countries they have a program where the person who is doing a PhD, they have some backup for the government, or they have a clear road. If when they finish their PhD, they are going to start working as a government employee or not. Okay, and there are some places where even if you have a payment or a scholarship or a salary, it depends on what you are doing. You can pay for rent, for example, or for health bills, or for food. So there is a lot of nuances here. What you should be paying attention for is the situation I am right now currently living. Will it hold true for in the next year or 2 or 3 or 5 or 10? If not, how can I change that? For example, in my specific situation, the job I'm now, it's a long-term job. Okay, so if I don't screw up, if I don't burn the computer or something like that, and if I don't decide to leave, I will be working here as long as I want. Okay. However, when I was doing my postdoctoral period, when I was working as a postdoctoral researcher, I knew that I had 20 months of scholarship. Okay, so I knew that after I have 20 months of the scholarship, next month I will have 19. The other month I will have 18. So see, you see this ticking bomb, and you need to decide if the situation you are now, when it finish, we will have a different situation prepared. I think this is more clear than if it's financial healthy or not, because financial healthy, it's a murky area, in my opinion. Maybe I'm wrong, but in my opinion, it's difficult to establish, especially if you consider worldwide views.
Yep, those are good advice. I mean, that's an important question, but also very difficult to answer. Okay, so moving on, Bruno, just let you know, I'm copying and pasting the questions to the chat so you can also see them.
Okay.
So the next question is, how long did it take you to learn in order to prepare yourself for the new role as a developer?
Well, I started learning when I decided, well, when I decided, well, that's it. I'm going to start on how to code. I'm going to learn how to make this presentation. I'm going to learn how to create software, and I'm going to change careers and everything. From this day until the day I got the job, it was 8 months. Okay. I was very lucky. I'm pretty sure I was very lucky. Okay, because the job I got, they said, we know this is a difficult tool to learn, and we know it's not very common. So we are going to put your training in your program. Okay. So I started to learning how to use that tool, to the platform, and code for it while I was already hired. Okay, so I know it was a very specific scenario. However, what's important is that 8 months before, when I started learning how to code, I was studying something that is not used now. Okay, so what I'm trying to say here is that maybe you are going to learn how to do something. You are going to learn a new language, for example. Well, I want to learn in Java. I want to learn C+. I want to learn .NET. I want whatever. You started to learn something, and you are going to have an opportunity, a good opportunity presented to you, and you are not going to use it. You are not going to use the language you learn, okay? Because you are starting a new career, okay? It's just like when you are starting your PhD, your master's, your undergrad courses, something like that. You said, well, I want to work with dinosaurs. And then your advisor says, we don't have dinosaurs, we only have crocodiles. Do you want to work with crocodiles fossils? And you say, yeah, well, sure. And then you start developing a career in crocodiles, okay? So you need to be open for that. It's more important than an extensive background to learn something.
I can relate to this example. All right, so moving on. Copy this and paste. So a related question. So what do you enjoy the most about your current position?
Well, one really good, I'm a bit savvy to say it, but there are 2 very specific points I really enjoyed. One is what I told you guys about. If I don't screw up, if I don't burn the computer, if I don't create chaos, I will be in this position for as long as I can see, which it's a relief for me, at least, because I was always anxious about where I was going to, what would be my next funding. Maybe you guys don't know it, but Brazil is a very big country, and I need to move like 5 different times across the country, flying 2,000, 3,000 kilometers across the country, and need to buy a whole new house, and it was terrible. Okay, so having this luxury of stability is very good. And another stuff is that I only need to work during my paid hours. Okay, so when the clock ticks 6 p.m., that's it. I just punch my card and I close the computer, and I can go play with my dogs. I can go to the gym. I can visit my friends. I can watch a movie. I can learn new stuff. I can play video games. I can visit my family. I don't need to keep working. Uh, I don't need to keep coming to work on weekends, for example. I have a clear divide of my work life and my personal life. Okay, I think this is important if you want to have a fulfiller personal life. If you want to have your hobbies, if you want to meet your friends, if you want to create something. Okay, uh, something that is also very good on the this line of work, at least for me, it's I I don't have any urgent deadlines. I don't have any, oh my God, you need to finish this right now. So it's a very, I know that there are some places, especially on IT development, and you need to finish that deadline. You need to finish the software in that time, and it's terrible. But for me, it's a very stress-free environment, and this for me is good. I can't handle stress.
Good to know. I'm jealous. Okay, so I think this is going to be the last one. All right. So does a career shift almost always require a radical shift in the way of thinking, especially if the fields are based on very different concepts? For example, a shift from highly rigorous mathematical position to a more observational field-based position? If you think yes, how do we accommodate for this radical shift in thinking?
Well, I'm not sure if it demands a radical shift in point of view or ways of thinking. Okay. However, it definitely helps. Okay. Because as I said on my presentation, especially when you are in an academic career, you are always focusing more. You are always with a narrow view. Okay. So you are a specialist. We all have a paleontological background here. So you start in work with something from the Mesozoic, and then you shift to no, I'm working only on Cretaceous stuff now, and then no, I'm only on the Abian Neptune layer now, and then no, I'm only on this small. So see, you are always focusing more, and when you decide to make a career shift, you then need to broaden this view, because the new career won't encompass that view. Okay, by the nature of your decision, you are expected to have this. You are expected to have this shift. Okay, so yeah, I'm not sure. I would say that it's not always require a shift, but you are expected to shift. So there is this small nuance.
Okay, I don't know if anyone wants to make another question, but I think we're approaching the end. Just wait a few seconds more. No, don't see any other questions. So thank you again, Bruno. I'm gonna take this the screen share, but thank you very
Okay, sure.
much for answering the questions as well. It was very, very, very helpful. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Pedro, for the opportunity to talk to you guys. Thank you, everybody, to listen to me. If you guys have any further questions, if you want to think more about it, or you decided to after you have something pops up, don't be scared to email me. Okay, just oh, sorry, I thought my email was on the screen. Feel free to email me and just send a question. I will be glad to help. Okay.
Great. Thank you again, Bruno. So I'm just gonna take over the screen share to
Okay, sure.
slides. Okay. Hopefully you're seeing my slides. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Cool. Okay, so thank you again, Bruno. Just another reminder that we would appreciate your feedback. So hopefully going to see a link for that in the chat right now. And if you can join us for next week for another talk within this special series of eoPathways, eoCareers. And next week, we're going to be joined by Luke Graham for a talk about the scientific publishing sector. So it's going to be, oh, this is wrong. So it's going to be August the 8th. So next week, next Tuesday. Again, just advertising our eoPathways series. So next week is going to be the last one that we know about. Let's see. But yeah, feel free to join us next week. We don't have the time right now. So yeah, by the way, Bruno, since it's almost the hour, I don't think you're going to have the time this week. So thank you again.
Okay.
Thank you everyone
for
joining, and see you next week, hopefully. Bye-bye.
Thank you. See you again, and hope you guys enjoy it.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.